This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hello everybody, it's your old pal Rob. Hope you guys are doing well today. Today we are going to be talking about miniature games at sea and anything on the pretty much on the water, the sea water. There are a bunch of really good games, and especially now where you're seeing a lot more games, that I started to think about some of the games that I really enjoy, and I decided to put this list together, working from the bottom all the way to up top. Let's pretty much get started. And one of the games that that I like, but is on the least of this list, is Dreadfleet. I wish they continued with this and made more armies for it and things like that. I don't think it did very well. Everybody was hoping for another version of Man of War, basically, because Man of War was a complete classic game, but now is kind of, at this point, with some of the stuff out, is a little outdated, but we'll get to that. But Dreadfleet was a solid game, but I don't think it was something that really everybody was looking for something else instead of seeing what it was for. I mean, what it was, the game as what it was, you know, what was presented to you. The models were beautiful, the gameplay was pretty good, but everybody pretty much wanted Man of War. Next on my list is a game that I really liked, and it was kind of, again, in that same type of fashion, where it was basically kind of people looking to it as a Man of War. You know, we keep on coming back to Man of War as a replacement for Man of War, and that was Uncharted Seas by the now defunct Spartan Games. Good, solid game. It just didn't take off, and as compared to its predecessor, or the more futuristic game, which was the Dystopian Wars, people ended up liking Dystopian Wars a lot more than Uncharted Seas, and it kind of fell off the chart there for a while. The next game in our list is Black Seas. Now, I know some people are going, Black Seas is great. Yes, I liked Black Seas, but I felt that in that type of era, there were games that were just better, that I enjoyed a lot more. There's another game coming up on this list that uses the Black Seas rules, but for some reason it just sucks me in more. I just felt that for this time period, that another game did it a lot better, so it kind of sits right there in some instance. After that, after Black Seas, believe it or not, is Victory at Sea. Victory at Sea is very good. It's large scale. For me, I just felt that the rules were a little tough to play, and as much as I liked it and I loved the models, I enjoyed painting it. You could check out the video that I did here on Rob's Tabletop World. But Victory at Sea is a very good and solid game. Just for me, I was just hoping for something a little bit more. I found myself going, well, you know something, this is all nice, but I'd rather play my micro armor. And I didn't include any micro armor rules, because a lot of them, you can use like 15 different rules, and there's not one that really sticks that you can pretty much go with. You know, take Sea Craig for instance. That's something I look forward to playing every single year when I go to Historicon. Or I'm not Historicon, Huracan. which is coming up very soon. And you'll see that I've taken some images of it if you check my past videos as far as historically going to Historicon and Recon, Huracan, excuse me, and Recon. The two gentlemen that invented the game are there. It's big scale, but if I had to compare a World War II battle game, Victory at Sea, just doesn't compare to Sea Craig and some of the other roles that I enjoy. Next, believe it or not, is going to be a game called Armada, which is basically the Black Sea rules, but in a fantasy setting. This here is the closest. And the reason I think it doesn't beat out Man of War, and I think it should, is that it's tight, it plays really well, it just needs more stuff. We're waiting more stuff. And a recent supplement just came out, and some air units came out, and I'm looking forward to bringing those in and see how they work with this very unique system. The system is fantastic. Again, Black Seas, the problem with Black Seas, again, is that I think for that time period, there's a game that does it better. Armada does it better than Black Seas. I know, it's hard to figure out, but I like the fantasy aspect of it, and it beats out a lot of the fantasy games. But it just doesn't drill it home. Next, Man of War. Man of War, I think, is one of the greatest fantasy games ever to be played. And like I said, there is such a thin line between that and Armada for me right now. I still love Man of War, but it's outdated. It's in order for you guys to get it, it's impossible. So that kind of is a big negative. The other thing is the rules weren't the easiest thing in the world. There was a lot going on with sea monsters and all this other stuff. And Armada just stands out as a quicker, easier, and the ships, let's be honest, they kind of look a little bit like Man of War. But and I like the Armada ships a lot better. I think they're really beautiful, and they have a presence and give you this feel. But historically, because there's just so much to Man of War, that it just stays above it by a hair. At number 2 is Dystopian Wars, not the Spartan edition, but the War Cradle Studios edition. This new edition is absolutely gorgeous. Putting the plastics together is a pain in the neck, but the result that you get with detail and beauty and the way the rules are, I mean, the rules play really well, just like the old Dystopian Wars. And I actually like all this so much better than the original. And they've done a fantastic job. And then when you take a look at the resin pieces, I've shown them here on the channel, they are as flawless as I've ever seen resin pieces come. Usually there's some cleanup and stuff. There is nothing. I mean nothing with this. The gameplay is superior. It's fun. It moves quick. Your ships are not going to last. So make sure that you're very smart in your strategic moves with your fleets, and that if you're going against something, you better take it out or you're going to get taken out. And I really love that about this game, the uncertainty. I think and now getting to my all-time favorite miniature game at sea is none other than a game that I have tons and tons of it, and I'm looking at it right now, and that's Sails of Glory. I talked about Black Sea and how good Black Sea is, but this game, Black Seas, does not beat out Sails of Glory. Sails of Glory is just a phenomenal and fantastic experience that you have to experience for yourself, pulling the chits out, not knowing, when you get hit, and praying that you don't get something devastating, or when fires are on board, trying to manage your ships with the cards and all that stuff. The movement with the cards on top of it just make the game so easy and smooth, and everything just works perfectly. It plays a lot like Wings of War, Wings of Glory, but there's just something that just stands out about this game that I absolutely adore. And for me, as far as Napoleonics and so forth and so on, pirates and things like that, this really does it for me, more than Black Seas. Even though Black Seas is more of a pirate theme at times, I just really enjoy this game over it, and that's why Black Sea is where it is, Armada is where it is. Because I thought, when I was putting this list together, I was thinking through all the things that kind of come through here. Now, a lot of this stuff maybe you haven't heard of or something. Check it out on eBay, look it up on Google. You'll see that a lot of this stuff is great, and a lot of it you can still get your hands on. The only one that's really a pain in the neck is Man at War, and for that, if you want that Man of War experience, go get Armada. Go get Armada from Manic Games, and you can't go wrong. So there you go, my list of games at sea. I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe there's some ones that I missed that you think about that really fit into this category. I would love to hear it in the comments and hear what you have to say. This was a very tough list to put together, but I had a good time doing it. So I hope you enjoy it. I can't wait to hear your comments and some of the things that you guys think. And until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon.